My one regret from my time in Australia is I didn't film any of it. As an 18-year-old who had no clue where I was going in life, I would never expected that 4 years later I'd be making a video out of it. But that's what this video is. This is about Australia. This is a video about how I found my purpose in life. I arrived in Australia 6 months after finishing school. I just had a very messy and public breakup. I was drinking heavy and putting on a front, when inside I was struggling. No matter how much I acted happy, my eyes told a different story. I was lost and I needed a change. I needed to run away. How far away can I get from my problems? The other side of the world sounds very nice right about now. I arrived in Cairns, Australia on Valentine's Day 2018, and boy was I soon to discover the meaning of love. I moved in with my auntie, her partner and her 2 little boys. This is my first time seeing my auntie in 15 years and the first time meeting her family. I was very quickly introduced to her work colleagues, Star and Justice, then later on to Riley and Sheree. During this time, we went out, partied, we swam in croc-infested rivers, saw turtles, went skydiving, swimming in the barrier reef and waterfall hunting. We just had a really good time. This is a time I'll always remember and a time I'll be always grateful for. I was supposed to spend a few weeks with my family in Cairns. I ended up spending 4 months with them. I left Cairns with a bigger family and 2 more little brothers in Alfie and Rowan. These boys really taught me what unconditional love is. But it's time to move on. I got the Greyhound bus down to Brisbane with stops along the way in Townsville, Early Beach and onto Fraser Island. I stayed on Fraser Island for 3 days with 17 other travellers. We saw dingoes, whales and plenty of rivers. And I even turned to a mermaid, among some other things. Oh, and I didn't mention, I was also defeated by Goon. I still can't smell it without chunning. Then it was time for Brisbane. I decided, in order to save money, I'd woof. This is the concept of helping out on a farm in order for free rent and food. This was a magical experience in which I worked in Mount Cotton on a fruit and veg farm with a weird variety of animals on the farm, from cows and chickens to spider and wallabies. All in all, I think this was the break I needed from the world, just to focus on me. Oh, and did I mention, I went to an animal sanctuary with Star for my birthday. Isolation is a very big part of solo travelling. No matter how much you surround yourself with people, you do get lonely and feel isolated. But in this case, it's very much a single swim. You just have to try keep swimming because it does get better. I went from someone who hated being on his own into someone who loves having alone time, from someone reliant on others to someone who's self-reliable. In this time, I figured out my plan. I'd come home after my year and go to university and do everything in my power to make Australia my forever home. I'd found my home and I never wanted to leave. Then I went to Gold Coast. I never actually planned on going to Gold Coast. However, on the plane from Dubai to Brisbane, when sat relaxing on a 3-seater all by myself, I see a girl on crutches coming over to me. She asked to sit and I say yes without thinking. We end up chatting for hours on the plane and she has a passing comment of, "Oh, if you're ever near Gold Coast, come visit. But people say it's a lot when travelling." I think, yeah, it would be nice, but I end up forgetting. So I'm in Brisbane a few days before I leave and I receive a message on Instagram. We planned to meet for the weekend and I end up staying at their family home with her family for the whole weekend. We watch Origin, we go to theme parks, we have the most amazing hospitality, and we go to Cox Rock. Oi oi. I was so grateful for the love their family showed me. I often think about them and I'll never forget them. Then on from there, it was back on the bus and on to Byron Bay to see the most eastern point of Australia, Coffs Harbour to see dolphins and whales, Newcastle to prank everyone back home, and then on to Sydney to start working. At this point I was very low on money and ended up spending my last $200 on a hostel for the week. I had to get a job in this week or I'd be forced to go home. I started working for Public Outreach as a charity salesman. This was an interesting place to work, from singing Country Roads every Monday morning to insulting Frankie Kokoza to his face. This job also taught me the joy of meditation and the attitude of, who cares? But I very quickly found this job wasn't for me. Honestly, I just wasn't very good at it. I then very quickly moved to Hotel Sweeney's. This was my first ever bar job and the best time I've ever had whilst working. Some of the stories I have will either make me want to bleach my eyes out or cry happy tears. It's one of them places, there's no in between. But for legal reasons, I can't tell them stories right now. At this time, I was living in the Jolly Swagman in King's Cross and very quickly found a group of people to call my own. These were people from all over the world and I had some of the best times of my life at the Jolly. From running around naked as a dare, the dildo, big up threesome girl, getting my face pissed on, and the spontaneous weekends away 10 hours up the coast. My family had now turned super international. I'd share a room with Ben and Fred for nearly 6 months while other guests would join and put up with our chaos. We had prank wars with other rooms in which mattresses were stolen, cockroaches were thrown, and steps were vaselined. Robin, by the way, it is not over, I will get you back. It was pure and utter chaos, but I wouldn't change it for the world. Sydney was also the location of my first ever Christmas away from home. We started it the night before with the first ever 12 pubs of Christmas bar crawl, and ended the next day by joining an impromptu rave on Bondi Beach. Sydney was home, realistically. I had a partner, a job, a home, and some amazing friends, but everyone has to move on someday though. At this point of the journey, I knew it was my final chapters. I felt like it. I was emotionally, physically drained. From here on, I went on to Melbourne via the Great Ocean Road, Adelaide, when I boiled to death, quite literally, and on to finally Perth. Perth was a really special place for me. My battery was empty, but I had to end the trip here. My dad was born here, so there was no better place for it to end. I flew home and arrived back on the 1st of February 2019, 351 days after I'd left. Australia very quickly became home for me. There were struggles along the way, I know that, but I came back a much better person when I left. I became so much more comfortable in my own skin and a much better person, a more positive person as a result. The friends I met along the way are friends for a lifetime, and some are now even family. I'm so grateful I got the opportunity to go out there and spend a year. I'll always be an advocate for travelling when young. It can be some of the most beautiful and fulfilling times of your life. Trust me, go out and see the world. It will be worth it.